will she be? The little girl that sparks the slumbering Olympic flame. Lighting our hearts, our dreams. The fiber that weaves a champion spirit is sometimes stretched too tight. Dominique Dawes, reigning national champion. So many times we've seen the tears colored by pain as often as joy. And now the cords are pulled even tighter. Her body failing, she struggles to reclaim her crown. It is the way of things. As the body changes, ability wanes, replaced by hunger, anger. A few short years can make a little girl's glory fade. Today, Shannon Miller is more woman than child, 18 and ancient, hungry and angry. Is she what gymnastics can be, what it will be? Dominique Moceanu, molded by the coach of champions, Bela Karolyi. Only 13 and already counted as the sport's future. Who will be the next national champion? Who will take the first step towards the coming Olympic Games? Tonight, we're about to find out. From the Louisiana Superdome in New Orleans, Tom Hammond, Tim Daggett, Elfie Schlegel, ready to bring you the Women's All-Around Championship from the U.S. Nationals as the women test their skills on all four apparatus. Dominique Dawes is the defending national champion. She won the All-Around Championship last year, in fact, winning 5 gold medals with a sweep, the first time that happened since 1969, but bothered now with nagging injuries. And Shannon Miller, now 18 years old, twice the world all-around champion, 8 world championship medals and 5 Olympic medals overall. She was second in the all-around to Dominique Dawes last year. And here's Dominique Moceanu, the protege of Bela Karolyi. In fact, has kept Bela out of retirement. So great is her potential. Won the junior championship last year and now has her first try at the women's senior competition at the U.S. Nationals. Tonight we'll see the optionals. The competition began earlier this week with the compulsories, 60% of the final score, and Shannon Miller in the lead with Moceanu second, J.C. Phelps third, and Dominique Dawes all the way back in 6th place. So quite a task for Dominique to come from that far behind. Here she is ready for her floor exercise.
And you know, Tom, we're always edging towards sounding the gun that this is a major meet towards the Olympic Games, but this truly is the first test on the road to Atlanta, these U.S. championships.
sums up the type of competitor that Dominique is. You know, she's hurting tonight, no question about that. Wrist injuries, ankle injuries, but she did not water down her tumbling moves whatsoever. That's really the type of champion that she is. Still very explosive in her tumbling runs. This, of course, being her trademark. Double twist rebounds right back to her second tumbling run. Very explosive. You wouldn't even know that she was injured.
Really the first gymnast to do a combination tumbling run like that.
So Dominique with a 9.80 on the floor exercise, and that will move her up from that 6th place after the compulsories. Here's J.C. Phelps, who lives in Cincinnati, teammate of Amanda Bordens, who is missing the competition with a foot injury tonight.
You know, J.C. had the strongest rookie performance I've ever seen at a World Championships last year in Dortmund. Did a great job.
Tim, a bit of a rough year since the Dortmund World Championships, but has really bounced back in the last month. Won the U.S. Classic heading into these national championships. Is fantastic on this event.
Got a beautiful line. Really nice toes, extended body. Everybody's doing this dismount in Cincinnati. Double front and a great landing.
Big smile for J.C. Phelps and her coach, Mary Lee Tracy.
Now the butterflies are out. All right, no more nervous stuff, okay? All right, no more nervous stuff.
You got Teresa, you got this.
Well, if she was nervous, it didn't show with that performance.
This is JC's event, and you know, Tim talked about the lines, how clean this routine is. She really uses it to her advantage. Beautiful handstand positions, not to mention the great release skills, too, in this routine. And this dismount, a blind landing, but perfectly done, very solid.
So J.C. Phelps looking to make a reputation here at the Nationals with a 9.85 on the uneven bars. Everyone awaiting the performance of Dominique Moceanu, the 13-year-old phenom. We'll see her in action when we return. Welcome back to the U.S. Gymnastics Championships in New Orleans. And ready to go on the vault is Dominique Moceanu. Both her parents gymnasts in Romania before immigrating to the U.S. As a 6-month-old infant, they had her hanging from kitchen towels. She hung on without dropping. As a 3-year-old, they called Bella and said, "We want you to take her." He said, "No, wait until she's 10. By 9, she said, "Take me there now."
Yes.
Tom, you know, it's really hard to believe she's just 13 years old, but you know, she is legit. She has everything that it takes to be a champion.
All right, keep it a little more hollow. You open it a little bit too much. That's why I got you in the onside.
You know, we have been listening to Bella for years, and you got to wonder if anybody understands him.
You know, I think she's kept him young. Have you seen the spring in his step at these nationals?
I got to tell you, he smiled more than I've ever seen him, but this is a big vault, as Elfie said. Good push off the horse. The only problem is just the landing. A big hop, but it's a powerful vault.
9.825 on that first. This is her second.
That's a good one.
Well, you heard Bella, that's a good one. The second one definitely will be the score that carries on. Far more explosive and a better landing.
Best vault counts here at these championships.
That was a big one.
As Bella said, it was a big one. Everything about the vault was better. She had a little bit more speed down the runway, came into the horse, a little better angle, got a better bounce because of it, a little higher in the air. But this is the most important thing, the landing, way better, just that small little hop forward. And a big smile already.
And by the way, if you think she'll be intimidated at this all-around competition, 9.9 on that second vault. And now the leader, Shannon Miller, with her coach, Steve Nuno.
Okay. Good to Shannon Miller. Oh, okay. Clean form.
She's been doing it for so long, being Shannon Miller, the gymnast, the champion, the girl from Oklahoma. the most decorated gymnast, man or woman, America has ever known. Yet tonight she has to answer the question that the entire gymnastics world is asking. Are her best days behind her?
Well, you know, it is going to be so hard for her. I heard you earlier, Tom, give her credentials, all those world and Olympic medals. It's such an incredible feat. She's a great champion, but to live up to those past performances, it's going to be hard.
And this will be a tough test, Tim. Many would prefer to hide the balance beam, but to open the competition on this event, this is a big test.
Current world champion here, though.
Very nice. Okay.
She has certainly grown from the little girl that was second all around in Barcelona.
Already just a slight balance break on a very new skill for Shannon.
Okay, all right. Good fight.
Instead of setting up now for her tumbling element in combination. 4 skills in a row. 2 layouts and a third.
Wow. That is a disaster
Come on
right
now.
there. Fall off the beam, 0.5 of a point. Automatic deduction.
Atta girl, nice one. Beautiful.
Steve Nuno, her coach in the background. The world is just a little bit out of control, I'm sure, in
Straight
both
up.
of these people's
Bring it up
heads.
tall.
This dismount's been giving Shannon a lot of problems in the training. Just the landing,
Atta girl.
perfectly done.
All right, how to fight it. Okay. How to fight it, baby.
Well, she
All
did
right,
recover
all
her
right.
composure enough to stick the landing, but look at her face. She knows that that might have been the competition with that one fall.
All right.
Well, at this
All right.
level, Tom, you have to be at your very best, and falls like this are, well, they basically can take you right out of the picture.
A little loose on the, yeah, a little loose on the.
4 elements, starting with the back handspring into 3 layouts. You can imagine the shoulders and hips have to be absolutely in line with the beam. She totally missed the right foot. Absolutely no chance of holding on to that skill.
Only 9.375 on the balance beam, and that will take Shannon Miller out of first place. Moceanu, the new leader, Phelps second, Miller all the way down to third. Dominique Dawes has moved up a spot to number 5. So 1 rotation into the competition already. Disaster for Shannon Miller. Can she overcome that fall?
Well, I'll tell you, Tom, it is disastrous. Her first event of the evening, 0.5 of a point when you fall off the balance beam. She has a huge uphill battle at this point.
Elfie, are we about to see a changing of the guard?
Quite possibly, Tom, but we have to remember it's still early in the competition. Just 1 rotation. There are still 3 events to go. And remember, Dominique Moceanu, her first national championship as a senior. She's only 13 years old, but she loves competition, and that's her most important gymnastic quality.
Our new leader, Dominique Moceanu, aiming to become the youngest ever national champion. Welcome back to the Superdome, where a fall from the balance beam has dropped Shannon Miller from first to third place in the all-around competition. Now she must respond like the champion she is to have a chance at the title. The wizened face of Bella Caroli, who has seen it all, and the wide-eyed wonder of the new leader, Dominique Moceanu. Bella was a little worried that she might have too much success too soon. Meanwhile, Dominique Dawes moving up a spot after the first rotation.
Tom, Shannon may be 18 years old, but she even realizes that you need to continually upgrade your routines, learn new skills. This is a brand new floor exercise routine, not to mention new and improved tumbling. a lot. The music was fitting for her style and personality, but was so impressive was the tumbling. She had 4 tumbling passes in this routine.
But the anguish of that balance beam fall still evident on her face. She might have had a good floor exercise, but she's not real happy right now.
How about that turn?
Well, I think she realized that she needed this exercise, and hopefully it'll move her that much closer to the top. This is her final tumbling pass. Really impressive. A full twisting double back after a long minute and 30 seconds of floor exercise routine and tumbling. That's tough to do.
Hey, beautiful dance.
Well, responding to adversity like a champion, being consoled by one of her coaches, Peggy Liddick. She responds with a 9.825 floor exercise. Well, no frowns here. That's a happy face, isn't it? The leader, Dominique Moceanu, who has been bouncing all over New Orleans this week. Here's Marianne Grabavoy.
Well, thank you, Tom. You know, after the 1992 Olympics, Bela Karolyi retired. He left the sport. He was disappointed that Kim Zmeskal was an Olympic champion. He was bitter with the judging. He was angry at the sport of gymnastics. Well, last June, the man who coached Nadia and Mary Lou came back to coach Kim Zmeskal, but she wasn't ready for this competition. And now it's a year before the Olympics. Kim's not here, but Bela is. And now the only other athlete he trains is Dominique Moceanu. She's a gift, really, this little girl. This gift arrives at a time when it seems gymnastics has lost its little girls. Maybe, just maybe, this little gift will give us what Nadia gave us. And maybe Nadia senses that too. They share Bela Karolyi, the man who makes little girls' dreams come true. After Barcelona, he retreated to his ranch, built a lake with his own hands. Maybe the water will wash away his anger and bitterness. He believed his beloved Kimbo should have been Olympic champion. But here she sits, 3 years later, staring at that lake, thinking of what might have been. The Olympics should never be a nightmare, but it's all made up of moments. So 2 years after the Olympics, Kim Zmeskal returned to the camp of her childhood dreams. She asked Bela to change the nightmare back into a dream.
That was the moment when I said, well, just forget everything else. There is one more great run. It's worth it to do it. It's worth it for the kids. It's worth it for the general idea of the Olympic Games. And I said, let's do it. If I'm doing it, let's do it right.
No, Kimbo, ready? Let's do one more time.
So side by side they trained, one a veteran with the scars to prove it, the other an innocent whose own Olympic story is about to unfold.
Pirouette was pretty good.
I see so much in her that I remember from myself, you know, everything being really new and, you know, looking forward to everything. So it's really exciting for me to be able to watch her, too.
Watch your back handspring. Strong, strong, strong. Punch it. And face. Face. All right. This little spark, she is something else. She is the one who really lighted up our late coaching career. It's a smiling, communicative, young individual, the one whose little mouth is non-stop saying something, commenting something, goes ups and downs. He's just a very, very human being.
It's fun, you know, the competitions, people clapping and cheering for you. And I'm, you know, excited and happy to be there.
And in one autograph session, which we held as a send-out of 92 Olympic game team, there she comes, Dominique Moceanu. And when the little paper of the people get to her, she signs, Dominique Moceanu, Olympic all-around champion, Atlanta 96, for sure.
Well, I was only 10, and, you know, I went to my first exhibition, and I didn't know any better, but, you know, everybody's like, oh, you're going to go to Olympics? I was like, hope so, yeah. And so I wrote 96 Olympics, for sure.
Here is that young tiger, the one who wants to tear down the mountain.
So tonight, this tiger sets out to tear down the mountain. She wants to do it the way Mary Lou did. Bella trains his little tiger the same way he trained Mary Lou, the same way he trained Nadia 20 years ago, thousands of miles away in Romania.
Dominique is the leader, perhaps tonight realizing that great potential. And Bella had said they didn't want her to have too much success too early, wanted to bring her along slowly, and the comparisons to Nadia Comaneci are many and valid.
And Dominique loves the comparisons that have been made to Nadia. She finds it a great compliment, calls Nadia regularly for advice on her gymnastics.
Good.
It's a great event for Dominique. Does some huge gymnastics elements.
All the way out. Good. Hello.
She just floats this release move. Watch.
Very nice.
Not just one, but here comes the second release skill.
Yes.
Great job in choreographing this whole routine. The first half looked absolutely huge, and she'll cap it off with the big dismount double layout.
What a reaction from Bella and the crowd. It looked to me to be absolutely flawless.
Beautiful routine, super difficulty, and she handles the pressure.
When Shannon Miller saw it, you see her reaction.
One of her most improved events. You know, she may only be 4'5", but she just explodes on this apparatus. Take a look at the dismount. It was huge. Double layout, well above the high bar. Lots of airtime there. Perfect form, and just plants it.
That 70 pounds never wavered on the landing. She stuck for a 9.825. Now Dominique Dawes, after the compulsories, in 6th place and beginning her climb up the standings. Defending all-round champion.
You know, Tom, not as crisp as we've seen Dominique on this event. One of her strongest events, just wasn't as explosive. Of course, she has a nagging injury to her wrist, doesn't really get the push off the horse that we're used to seeing. As a result, has some stumbles on the landing.
What? 9.95 for Dominique Dawes, and big score there. You saw the form in the air and then the hop on the landing, but there is a tricky little rule just at this competition that if she does a certain amount of vaults in a certain way, she gets a 10th bonus added on. That's why the score's so big.
So obviously the first vault was better of the two. She had another hop on the landing there, and the first vault, 9.95, will count.
Well, Tom, it will be the first vault, the score that will carry over. The second vault Dominique performed didn't quite have the same start value, a little bit lower.
Shannon Miller, almost a look of hopelessness on her face. She did manage to gain a little ground with her floor exercise, and after 2 rotations, Dominique remains the leader. Is that an insurmountable lead with Shannon in second place?
Well, to put it in perspective, that lead is about a fall away.
Dominique on the beam when we return. Crescent City U.S. Gymnastics Championships, where Shannon Miller in second place attempts her first vault. Remember, there are 4 events going on simultaneously. You hear some floor exercise music in the background.
Tom, she has taken total command of her performance at this competition, coming back with an awesome vault. Doesn't get much better than that.
That's how you stick that, baby.
That's right. She is doing everything to just scrape her way back into this competition.
It's got to give you a clean front entry.
Dad is obviously happy with that, but the problem is Dominique Moceanu, she is not flinching.
You want it off?
Yeah, she shows no sign of wilting under the pressure.
Okay, I want it popped up there, and I want
Although
it
she's
stuck,
on the beam, a dangerous apparatus next. Here's Shannon's second vault.
Well, she went for the more difficult vault, a higher start value, but then was forced to take an extra step, so that's a deduction.
All right.
Much more difficult because she does not do that round off onto the board. Can't generate quite as much power on this. Step on the landing. But because it's more difficult, this is going to get a bigger score, and it does, 9.95.
And that brings a rare smile to Shannon's face. There haven't been many after that fall on the balance beam, and that is where the leader, Dominique Moceanu, is now, with her parents looking on.
Elfie said it a little bit earlier. This title is basically one fall away, though. Anything can happen on the beam.
Dominique works this routine as we've seen her do all week in practice.
This is great.
You're in for a real treat, opening up with a very unusual mount. And getting set for her most difficult tumbling pass, the same skill that gave Shannon Miller such big problems.
Yeah.
Not from this one.
I think there's a grown-up trapped inside that 70-pound body.
Yes.
Take a look at the way she uses her upper body, in particular, her head, her hands. She is so poised and so confident on that 4-inch balance beam, and solid.
One would think she'd be a little bit apprehensive, just a little bit cautious, but not at all.
Such strength in all her moves. No way, Tim. She is taking charge of this routine. Just the dismount.
And now gone easy, easy, and stay. Holy cow.
You know, maybe she's too young to realize the pressure.
I think she's just doing what she does best. This is exactly what she's trained to do in all her practices. She went out there, focused on the routine, and as we said before, she thrives on competition. She absolutely loves performing.
Good one. All right.
And this mount right here, it is all performance. It's maybe not quite as difficult, but it's just really darn cool.
Just taking a little walk down the balance beam. But the big skill of this exercise was this tumbling pass, starting with a back handspring, 3 consecutive layouts, totally in line with this beam, right on. Remember the move that gave Shannon such problems, but for Moceanu, no way.
9.85 on the balance beam. And that will keep Dominique in front. Now J.C. Phelps, who's making a bid for a medal.
If you're looking for another new face in Atlanta, I think it's this one, J.C. Phelps. I think she'll be there. She's also doing a new and more difficult floor exercise routine.
And Tim, new music. She's gotten rid of the classical stuff. She says this better suits her personality. This is the routine that JC needed. I think it works better for the audience, and it's a routine that she can grow into.
Big hug from Mary Lee Tracy. Last year, JC Phelps came from nowhere to finish 6th in the all-around in her first seniors competition.
But when you took like 2 steps, you did a double front.
You know what Mary Lee Tracy is saying there? You took 2 steps. You could see JC's eyes. She said, I know. What did I do? This is a very difficult tumbling pass. You'd think she'd run the entire floor in order to get the height she needs on this double front, but she doesn't. What she said is, you only took 2 steps. How did you do it?
Well, she did it and gets a 9.825, and that will definitely put her in medal contention. So with 1 rotation to go, Dominique Moceanu remains the leader. Shannon Miller is second. Dominique Dawes has risen from 6th place all the way to 3rd, and she'll be on the beam when we return to the championships.
How long did I take?
Friday night, baseball's back on NBC.
Welcome back to the Superdome, where Dominique Moceanu is just 1 event away from becoming the youngest U.S. all-around champion, sitting with Marta Karolyi. Only the floor exercise remains for Dominique. Here's another Dominique, Dominique Dawes, who has rallied from 6th place after the compulsories with a chance for a medal, her final event, the beam.
And Tom, hasn't this been a performance of her life this evening with all the injury problems? She's never once used them as an excuse, but to move up 3 spots at this championships, that really shows you the true strength of this athlete. Typically one of her strongest events, and you'll see why in a second. This is a skill that is her trademark. Should take the entire length of the beam. And a huge error. She basically missed the entire skill. She should have continued that right to the end.
You know, and it's funny, it didn't look like she was that off balance. It looked like she just stopped.
Back on track, very powerful punch front.
And you know, this event is probably the least demanding on her body. It's funny, sometimes you're so worried about injuries and where they're going to affect you the most, and they show up in a place where it shouldn't even be a problem.
She needs a whole lot of energy to get through this dismount. 2 consecutive back handsprings to a full twisting double back, and she took out the full twist.
But this was not a good performance for Dominique Dawes. What a difference a year can make.
So after dominating a year ago, Dominique, beset by injuries, just not her normal self.
Well, what happened here? Not a lot. Back handswing to the layout.
Didn't look that off, though, Elfie, huh?
It didn't. She was just slightly off, but obviously felt she couldn't finish the move.
And look at that. At least in my experience, rare tears from Dominique. And one wonders if she can regain, as her body matures, championship form.
Well, Tom, I'd like to think, yes, I haven't given up on her, you know, without trying to make excuses for Dominique. She really didn't get a fair chance at coming into this competition at 100%. She's a strong athlete, as you can see right there, a beautiful athlete and a lot of talent.
And that score will eliminate her from medals at these 95 championships.
Clean form. Up on top of
Shannon Miller, second place, in fact, staring at a second consecutive second-place finish at the Nationals. Meanwhile, the leader, all she's worrying about is getting her number on straight, it would seem.
If you had an event where you'd want to finish, I would say it'd be the floor exercise. It's pretty hard to fall off the floor.
Now Shannon Miller's final routine. It'll be on the uneven bars.
You know, since the fall on balance beam, Shannon has been just about perfect this entire competition. This is also a great event for her.
The move coming up right here that was named after her. This is the Miller. Right to a Ginger. Nice combination. Experience.
That's amazing she didn't fall the wrong way.
Get it.
Needs a lot of speed here.
Get it. Oh! What is that new move? You're the fighter tonight, honey. You're the fight tonight.
Well, she certainly was a fighter this evening. A great routine, ended it off well with the strong full twisting dismount, but you know, that arch on the bottom bar, that's a substantial deduction.
Good job. All right.
Here's a look at the Tkachev, her second release skill in the routine. Swings back, supposed to go to a very straight handstand, but way over, and I'm telling you, pulling that move back. Wow. Surprised she could do it.
Now that's called effort.
9.75 on the uneven bars, but she has shown her courage tonight after falling on her first apparatus, the balance beam. And now the princess perhaps about to be crowned queen, and wouldn't you know it, everyone else is finished.
Did you cue?
Bella's making sure the music is going to be right, and Dominique will be on center stage all by herself for the floor exercise. Her mentor, Nadia Comaneci, looks a little nervous. And that's all she needs to claim the title. She looks a little on edge, too. We haven't seen that very often. And her parents look on, and I guess a little divine intervention wouldn't hurt.
I don't know. She doesn't look like she needs it at all tonight, however. She will light this arena up with this floor exercise routine.
Round on the round.
Yeah, that's it.
You won it, Dobie. You won it.
You won it. Well, she did with that floor exercise. I don't think it's coincidence that she was born in Hollywood.
You know something? That smile is going to be pasted to that face for quite some time. That was a treat.
That's so supposed to.
9.8 on the floor exercise as she finishes with a flourish, and Shannon Miller feels the bitter sting of tears. Marianne?
The youngest national champion ever. Did you know you could do this tonight?
Well, I was hoping and praying, you know. I wanted to really bad, and I did, and I'm very happy.
Did you know that Shannon Miller fell on the beam, and what did you think?
I saw her, you know, a little bit of the corner of my eye because I was finishing vault, and I saw her, and, you know, I was like, wow, you know, it's my chance maybe to get ahead. And I really wanted to hit my routines as best I could and try to win.
Do you think you're born for greatness in this sport?
I don't know, you know. I've been in it so long. It's just, I love the sport, and it's great.
Bella didn't want you to win. What do you think about that? Too much too soon.
I'm happy. He's happy, too, so it's good.
Is 96 Olympic all-around champion within your grasp?
I hope so. I'm, you know, going to train for it, and I hope so.
Congratulations. 13 national champion. What a future.
Thank
Tom,
you.
back to you.
All right, Marianne, and I'd say for that young lady, the future is now. The old and the new in U.S. gymnastics, the master Bela Karolyi with his young protege, Dominique Moceanu. National all-around champion, defeating the likes of Shannon Miller and Dominique Dawes. Back to New Orleans for final comments in a moment. Championships. Coca-Cola Classic. Always the real thing, always Coca-Cola. Perhaps we witnessed a new era in American gymnastics tonight as the fresh faces of Dominique Moceanu and J.C. Phelps finished first and third, with Olympic veterans Shannon Miller and Dominique Dawes second and fourth. Now from New Orleans, this is Tom Hammond for Elfie Schlegel, Tim Daggett, and Marianne Grabavoy. Oh no, is another Moceanu waiting in the wings? So long, everybody.
If you love gymnastics, get them.
From the Superdome in New Orleans, Tom Hammond, Tim Daggett, Elfie Schlegel, ready to bring you the women's event finals at the U.S. Gymnastics Championships. Tonight we'll be seeing competition in all four areas of women's gymnastics: the vault, uneven bars, balance beam, and floor exercise. And Dominique Moceanu, still basking in the glow of her all-around title last night, has qualified for competition in all four events. Shannon Miller, perhaps with something to prove after finishing second to Dominique last night, was second in all four events last year. And the first area of competition tonight will be the vault.
Well, Tom, the event finals is a little bit more difficult. Both vaults counting. Dominique Moceanu, although she has strong vaults, isn't quite as powerful as some of the others in this competition.
Got to do two different kinds of vaults in the competition. She'll start with the standard Yurchenko style round off onto the board.
Excellent looking first vault. As a matter of fact, it was quite powerful. Lots of height. She did the best she could possibly do.
Veteran coach Bela Karolyi, who was all smiles last night as Dominique became the youngest U.S. all-around champion. She had a 9.9 last night in vault.
This is your Yurchenko style vault, the round off, backflip onto the horse, a 1.5 twist, opens up to a blind landing and just a very slight hop.
9.887 on her first vault.
Now things get a lot trickier. Unlike the all-around competition, in event finals, the athlete has to perform two different vaults. They're very less practiced in this area. It was a good vault, but you obviously saw the huge hop on the landing there.
Family looking on. Both her parents were gymnasts in Romania before immigrating to the U.S., and her little sister Christina currently training to be a gymnast as well.
A very different style in this particular vault, and it's only out of a 9.9. That's the maximum value she can score. Lots of height, was fairly clean, but a substantial hop on the landing.
And you see the score for her second vault. That means after averaging the two, her score 9.756. Now here's Heather Brink from Lincoln, Nebraska, though she trains along with Shannon Miller in Edmond, Oklahoma. In fact, starts her senior year of high school tomorrow.
And Tom, not an athlete we're too familiar with, but this is Heather's event. Very powerful. Actually says it's her favorite apparatus. Actually, a great looking vault. It was super high, very powerful, but she did have some stumbles on the landing.
And you know what really makes this vault so difficult? It requires total air sense. You have to know where your body is because you can't see the floor.
And Heather Brink's first vault nets her a 9.837. Heather with a very respectable 10th place finish in the all-round competition last night.
Remember, a different style vault. You know, that was so close to almost being a perfect stick. So close, but just took that little step right at the end there.
A little sloppy with your legs.
Steve Nuno, her coach, second vault, 9.725. And the average then is 9.781 for Heather Brink. I love the concentration on her face as she came down the runway. And speaking of concentration, Shannon Miller. What a great comeback after falling in the balance beam last night to claim the silver medal.
Exactly. After that mistake, she had almost no errors throughout the entire competition. The landings were awesome. Landing, of course, the key on the vault event.
Absolutely beautiful. You know, she does that vault as well as you can possibly perform it. It's only out of a 9.9, but she's going to score maximum value out of this vault.
Tight body over the top, okay?
I just think she has something to prove tonight to Dominique and everyone else that thinks she could be over the hill at 18 years old.
Well, she certainly isn't over the hill. I mean, she gets a great bounce off of the horse there. Just the smallest of little hop on the landing.
9.837 on the first vault for Shannon, who in a week or so begins classes at Oklahoma University. A limited class load while still training for Atlanta.
Approach, a much more difficult vault.
On the landing, you know, you split your legs just before you land it. Got to be ready on that landing.
You know, I spoke with one of her coaches, Peggy Liddick, and she said, you know, yeah, we did lose the all-around title, but we had to make a decision, and we had to decide, did we want to peak here or at the World Championships? Shannon just can't do it at every meet, and she said she'll be ready for the World Championships.
And second vault score 9.837, and that is the average as well, and that will give her the gold medal in the vault. So Shannon Miller takes the gold, Heather Brink the silver, and Moceanu the bronze. Coming up, Dominique Dawes. We'll see her on the uneven bars when we return. The U.S. Gymnastics Champion. Welcome back to the Crescent City, New Orleans, where we prepare for competition now in the uneven bars. Dominique Moceanu, who had a very respectable score of 9.825 in the all-round competition on the bars.
Tom, Dominique's really getting her fill of experience at the championships. She has to deal with her new crown, as well as competing for the first time in all 4 event finals. That's day 2, very tough to do.
This event is one of her most improved, isn't it?
Most improved and spectacular. The first half of this routine looks absolutely huge. Great choreography of skills, and she's getting set for her release skills right here. Beautiful. Planning a second one right here to Tkachev.
Big dismount coming up. Double laid out somersault. Lot of speed. Oh, oh my. Woo. Whoa. Boy, oh boy.
That's a new dismount. I know, I said.
Well, Bella had a sense of humor about it anyway. A new dismount, he said.
Wow.
I don't think that's the way they planned it.
That's a brand new
Nope,
dismount.
not quite.
Yeah, he's laughing a little bit, but I got to tell you, that was very scary and very dangerous. She's a lucky little girl right now.
But she certainly knew how to fall. It appeared as if she just ripped off the bar. There it is. I mean, she didn't even get up on that giant, just peeled.
Okay, get up then. Yes. Right.
Like I said, she is really lucky that this worked out because she has no idea where her body is. It's just flailing through the air, and it just happens to land in a way that she doesn't get hurt at all.
I think that diminutive size helped her out there. She luckily was not injured, and you see a low score on the bars.
It's funny, if she was in practice, Bella would be lifting her up to the bar right now, and she'd be doing it again.
14-year-old Donnie Thompson is next from Colorado Springs. An unusual first name, Donielle, is actually the name named after her uncle Don, who succumbed to cancer at age 21.
Donnie is extremely good on this event. Pay attention to her toe point.
Beautiful Tkachev right there.
Excellent height. She has a second release skill right here. Most women at this level of competition will do 2, sometimes even 3. And this is certainly a highlight of her routine. Double layout, beautifully done and stuck perfectly. Great exercise.
Donnie is one of those up-and-comers in the U.S. gymnastics world, 7th in the all-round competition, and as we said, just 14 years old.
Had to feel good. All right, good job.
I tell you, you know, it amazes me. I watched Donnie train all week long, and there always was a crisis, something going wrong, lots of tears, coaches kind of ignoring her, but when it really matters, and that's the competition, Donnie Thompson stays on the event, and she hits her routines.
I have to say a highlight to this routine were her release skills. She performed the Tkachev that we just saw, but she does it a second time from the opposite direction. Just as much height, beautifully performed, a great, great skill.
And Donnie making a strong bid for a gold medal. Her score, 9.862. Now Donnie's new training partner, Kerri Strug.
And what a tough last 3 years it's been for Kerri Strug. She was on the 92 Olympic team, has decided to make a comeback to the sport, wants very much to be on the 96 Olympic team. She's changed a lot of things in her life, including a new gym. She lives in Colorado and lives with her coaches, Tom and Lori Forster.
She's been sort of a nomad of the gymnastics world, training in all places all over the country, it would seem, and missed the championships last year with an injury.
Another release right here.
And really having an absolutely easy time with this routine. Huge dismount, full twisting, double back, nice and high, but a little bit of a stiff landing there, Tim.
Oh, Kerri's going to hate me for this. I'm always criticizing the way she lands. It's the one quality. She just seems to always land a little locked leg or not ready for the floor.
It's like you just straighten your leg a little bit on the landing.
Coach Forster saying that straighten your legs a little bit too soon. Like I said, she's always having a problem with this on floor particularly, but this is a beautiful full twisting double. Just watch, she kind of locks those legs out, and when you do that on a landing, it makes you bounce, so your feet leave the floor.
And the score, 9.812. Not enough to overtake Donnie Thompson. Still to compete, though, Dominique Dawes, who dazzled the gymnastics world with a sweep of all the gold medals at the championships last year, bidding here for her 3rd overall U.S. bars title.
And should be able to do it. This is a dynamite routine right off the top. Huge release skill, but here is the key skill that she added before the 94 World Championships. Absolutely gorgeous. That's tough.
We've told you she's been struggling with some injuries, particularly her wrist skill, and that's very tough on the injury, that pirouetting element.
Dominique Dawes shrugging off those nagging injuries with a great bar performance, bidding to equal Marcia Frederick's feat of 3 U.S. Bars titles. Donnie Thompson can only watch and wait for the scores.
Tom, I have to say that was just a phenomenal routine. Great release skills. She put it all together. You wouldn't even know she had a wrist injury. Great release skills in this routine, but she makes this dismount look so effortless. Look at the locked knees together and knows exactly where she is on the landing.
And the score, 9.912. So Dominique Dawes, a disappointing 4th in the all-around, has come back strong here in the event finals, and that will give her the gold in the bars competition. Final standings, Dawes the gold, Donnie Thompson the silver, and Kerri Strug the bronze. And perhaps Dominique is mortal after all. So after the first 2 events, it's obvious we're seeing a different Dominique Moceanu. What's the reason, Tim?
Well, maybe she didn't get quite as much sleep as she wanted last night. It was a very exciting evening for that young lady. But this might be a blessing in disguise. Bella said that he was worried about her having too much success too early. She'll probably see that she's got to be at her very best every day to compete with the top in the world.
Elfie, can she regroup on the balance beam?
Oh, I think she can. She has all the confidence in the world. And last night in the balance beam event, I mean, she was so confident. She owned that event. I think the mistakes we saw earlier on in the competition were just a sign of being 13 years old and very inexperienced.
And we'll see Dominique on the beam when we return. Tim Daggett, Elfie Schlegel at the U.S. Championships in New Orleans. Dominique Moceanu, the all-round champion, getting ready to compete on the balance beam, often the dreaded apparatus. And here's a new face, Monica Flamer, a Texan, though she was born in Gainesville, Florida. Straight A student in Spring, Texas. As a young child, competed in beauty pageants and always with that gymnastics ability won the talent competition.
And as Moceanu, she was a junior last year who moves up to the senior ranks this year.
This is Monica's specialty. What you'll see in this routine is a real variety of skills.
Here comes her first tumbling run here. Solid.
That's very difficult to do. That jump right there where she flips her head back, losing sight of that 4-inch balance beam.
Actually popularized by a Chinese gymnast named Yang Bo.
As I said, variety. She's done some backward skills. That was a punch front.
This is kind of neat right here.
Very different.
And also very cute.
She actually had the 3rd highest score on the all-round on the balance beam.
Just the dismount. Double pike. Nice exercise.
So Monica Flamer perhaps in medal contention here on the beam.
Great experience for a junior last year, as Tim said, finding herself in the event finals in the senior competition. There's a look at that different looking handstand, a bit of a planche there. Like to see variety.
And a good score for Monica, 9.687. Next, Dominique Moceanu, who with her all-around title last night has fueled comparisons to another of Bela Karolyi's star pupils, Nadia Comaneci. captured the heart of America last night, but she's finding this evening to be a little more difficult. And her sister Christina says, good luck, big sis.
All right.
Yeah, you know, you got to remember that the last thing that Dominique Moceanu did was that bar dismount, so...
Don't rush. Remember, don't rush.
Bella actually probably very concerned here, wants to make sure his athlete is totally prepared.
The next competitor on balance.
You know, has Dominique ever experienced something like that? That may be something new for her as well.
Yeah, I'd say she was a bit shaken up after this event and the uneven bars, so this is a tough test to follow. You have to be extremely focused on the balance beam, as you can well imagine.
Well, so far, so good.
Good.
Right here it all begins, though. First major tumbling run on the balance beam. She'll do 4 skills in a row. Oh, she's a... Oh.
Ouch.
Wow, you could tell right on the second layout that there was no way. She didn't have the height. Staying on that beam, though. She's a fighter, a little tiger. However, you go down on the beam, it's just like falling off.
Nice skill right there. Of course, the difficulty now is brushing off that fall and getting on with the rest of this routine. She still has some really difficult things yet to come.
And a vulnerable quality we're seeing tonight that we did not see last night.
Well, that's the secret of gymnastics. You're supposed to make it look easy, and she did that last night. But you can see by some of the little mistakes and some of the bigger ones that this is a tough sport. I just think she looks a little bit tired. A little bit tired.
Tired, overwhelmed.
Well, the situation is really wasn't there. But things are happening. Stronger next time.
Well, you know, maybe the enormity of what she accomplished last night has finally sunk in.
I think it has, Tom, because this is something she's probably never done before, even in practice. On the second flip, she really lost it. No lift, as you heard Bella say, and then totally no lift on the third one. She couldn't even save it, but that's a major fall.
Look at it from this angle. She almost hits her head on the beam. Oh,
that was close.
Two pretty big falls from Dominique Moceanu.
On the uneven bars and now on the beam, where her score is only 9.10. Now Dominique Dawes, two-time national balance beam champion, already has claimed a gold in the uneven bars tonight.
And we didn't see the type of balance beam routine that we're used to seeing from Dominique in last night's all-around competition. She missed her most important line of the routine.
And that ankle injury had to have something to do with it. You see how the ankle is stressed here on the beam.
This is probably the most difficult apparatus on those injuries, the wrist injury, the ankle injury.
Here's that tumbling pass Elfie was talking about. She basically balked last night. No problem.
New skill for Dominique, double turn. Right on. You know, she will be the last person to tell you that those injuries had any influence on her performance in the all-around competition. She will not use it as an excuse.
Like Shannon Miller, Dominique soon starts college classes, in her case, the University of Maryland.
This is a pretty big dismount, Tom. We'll see whether or not she throws in the full twist. Second time she's taken out the full twist in her dismount.
Much more aggressive than yesterday.
much more, okay? You realize you're still hurting your neck, girl? All right.
Well, it was more aggressive, but perhaps not quite up to Dominique Dawes' standards.
This was fantastic. This was very aggressive. This was what we were supposed to see in the all-around competition. 4 skills, 3 layouts in a row. That's great.
She does have some problems in the exercise, and she also does, as Elfie mentioned, an easier dismount, a straight double back. She usually does a full twisting double back. That means that her start value will be lower than it characteristically is. And therefore, she's going to get a lower score.
And her score is 9.60, not enough to overtake Monica Flamer. And here's Donnie Thompson, all-round champion at the Olympic Festival last year and already a silver medalist tonight on the uneven bars. Donnie Thompson is true to the spirit of her home state, Colorado. Lighthearted, seemingly carefree, just your average 14-year-old. Well, not exactly. Donnie Thompson, forget sometimes that they are just teenagers, was talking with Dominique Moceanu. We were sort of eavesdropping, and she was telling about a fellow gymnast who was training and tumbled all the way out the open garage door. And Dominique, listening, said, "Ooh, cool."
Her eyes got all big.
That was a fun moment. She's in a fantastic position to wrap this one up. Last one in the competition, knows what's happened ahead of her.
Like I said earlier, her best quality is she's a competitor, and this is where you need it most in women's gymnastics, the balance beam.
Really nice combination there, punch front to a jump connection. She has some interesting skills, but what really stands out in Donnie's work is her choreography, her toe point, very neat gymnastics.
As we've said, trains with the Colorado Aerials, with Tom and Lori Forrester, a major force now in women's gymnastics. They have a number of top contenders for that Olympic team. Lori told me earlier that having Carrie Strug, with the experience she has come into the gym, has helped all of the athletes tremendously.
Nice routine so far.
So far, so good. Just setting up for her dismount, combination, back handsprings, to a double back. Ooh, a little bit of a problem on the landing.
Tom and Lori Forster, her coaches, as Donnie hustles off the podium, and she's a force here at the event finals tonight. That was a good routine.
Good cover. What do you think's happening out of the well, I was thinking of, like, you know, like Tammy was saying, use both legs. And I think I just, like, lean into it.
Always critiquing the performance, even after it's all over with. This was a nice combination here, the punch front. Right to the jump. I think she was thinking of connecting yet another skill and stopped. Probably a wise decision.
Interesting shot.
Dismounts where she had a little bit of a problem on the landing, just needed to stand it up quicker. 2 back handsprings to a double back.
But this is the fight we're talking about. She's a competitor. A lot of other gymnasts would have put their hands down right there.
And here's her score, 9.687. And what about this? That looks like a tie. That'll tie her for the gold medal with Monica Flamer.
I don't, I kind of got lost.
She didn't get lost at all. She'll take a gold. And what about this? 2 new faces claim a tie for the gold. Donnie Thompson and Monica Flamer, with Dominique Dawes third. We'll enjoy the floor exercise in a moment. Welcome back to New Orleans, where the women's event finals conclude with a floor exercise. And Dominique Moceanu, who's had a difficult evening, will try to twist again like she did last night.
And Tom, she needs to walk away from this event feeling good and end on a very strong last event.
Well, her family liked it, and that'll make Dominique feel good, too, is that showmanship, that flair returned.
Oh, that no comment.
Definitely the best exercise we've seen from Dominique tonight. She really needed this, as Elfie said.
And Tim, there was a whole lot of twisting going on, not only in the choreography, but in every single one of her tumbling passes. Look at the height on this opening move, full twisting, double back in a pike position.
She really does that easy. You know, it is amazing. When you look at it in slow motion, you see actually all that's going on.
Now, as difficult as these tumbling passes were, this routine start value was only from a 9.9.
So if she's perfect, that's her score.
And here is Dominique's score. It's 9.80, so not quite perfect.
What a day, Mom.
It has been a tough day. Now Shannon Miller, she was world champion in 1993 in the floor exercise, and ever the responsible citizen. She's been involved in fundraising for families of the victims of the Oklahoma City bombing, which occurred just about 10 miles from her home.
A little too hard. You went hard. All right. Good job.
Well, Shannon Miller did go hard on her floor exercise, her final event at these championships.
In fact, she had a whole lot of energy going on. In the first tumbling pass, she stepped out of bounds. You know, this is a routine that she unveiled in last night's all-around competition. It works so well for her. In fact, she does harder tumbling. Here's the first pass, the whip through to the full twisting double back. Lots of energy, as Steve pointed out. You can see right there, takes a step out of bounds. That's a 10th deduction.
So that will hurt her score, 9.775. But still, Shannon Miller has shown us at age 18 she is still a force to be reckoned with. As is Dominique Dawes. We'll see her floor exercise when we come back. We return to New Orleans for the floor exercise by 17-year-old Kerri Strug, a veteran of the 92 U.S. Olympic team, hoping to be a member of the Atlanta squad.
And Tom, one of her more notable strengths in this exercise is by far the power of her tumbling.
Kerri Strug already has won a bronze on the uneven bars tonight, but a couple of problems in her floor exercise routine.
It was amazing that her second to last tumbling pass that she didn't put her hands down. Landed really short on it, but fought for that landing.
She's always done this opening tumbling run very well, gets a lot of height. As I mentioned before, a powerful, powerful tumbler. She makes it look fairly easy, you have to admit. Double layout, a little messy in the legs there, separation.
But when you keep your body straight and extended like that in the air, very difficult to get that all the way around.
9.725 the score for Kerri Strug, who got congratulations from Shannon Miller. And now the final competitor at these U.S. Championships, Dominique Dawes, going for her third U.S. floor exercise championship.
And this, of course, is where Dominique gained much of her fame and recognition, the patented double first pass here.
Well, last night the tears were flowing after a fourth-place finish in the all-around, but Dominique Dawes winds up with a flourish. Excellent routine.
A definite look of relief. You know, she considered actually scratching from this event prior to the event finals. She is awesome, really remarkable. With all the injuries she's had, she pulled it all together.
This is her first tumbling run. As I mentioned, she made this famous. She'll tumble the entire length of the floor exercise, rebound into a front flip, and go the entire way backwards. Look at this here. Now she changes direction. As I said, this has made Dominique Dawes famous the world over. And the thing that was great about this, sometimes they have choreographed smiles in their routine, but she gives a big smile right there, and that wasn't choreographed.
Dominique awaiting her score in the floor exercise, and it is 9.9. And that will give Dominique Dawes the gold medal, the 11th gold medal she has won at the U.S. Championships. Moceanu finishing second, but Dominique Dawes equaling the record total set earlier by Joan Moore Rice, 11 USA gold medals. Here's Marianne Grabavoy with the winner.
Lots of injuries, but you gutted it out tonight.
Yeah, I really wasn't sure if I was going to compete the floor exercise because my ankle was really sore, but I'm really glad I did and stuck with it.
You swept 4 gold medals here last year in the event finals. Can you regain top form looking for the Atlanta Olympics?
I hope to. I want to go back to the gym and train a lot harder, like my coach said, and really take a positive attitude and a lot more mental preparation.
What keeps you going? What motivates you now?
Pretty much the road to Atlanta. I really want to make it there, and I really want to help out the U.S. team.
Well, congratulations on a really gutty performance tonight.
Thank you.
And we'll return to New Orleans for final comments in just a moment. These 95 nationals will forever be remembered as the coming out party for Dominique Moceanu. But she did experience the ups and downs of national competition, from last night's title to a dangerous fall in these event finals. But she did win a couple of medals. And right now, Dominique is with Marianne Grabavoy.
Well, thank you, Tom. Dominique, last night you became the U.S. national champion, but tonight a few problems.
Yeah, well, I was a little bit off a couple of things. I slipped on bars and my mistake on beam, but I need to, you know, get used to this 3-day and go harder and do my best next competition and learn for next time.
Did the excitement from last night affect you tonight? Were you able to sleep last night?
Kind of sort of, you know, I guess I was just off in my timing, I guess. I was just not focused enough, probably, and I was just, you know, excited from last night, and I guess I should have been more focused on my event.
Bella said he didn't want you to win too much too soon. Does this keep you from getting a big head too soon?
I'm not going to get a big head, though, because I know I have to go back home and train hard, and Bella will keep me straight, and he'll do the best, you know, to help me out and do everything that we can together.
Good enough, Dominique. Thank you.
Thanks.
Just think about it. By this time next year, the Atlanta Olympics will be over. So this weekend, the test of endurance began. Who will survive to represent the United States in 1996? John Roethlisberger, now 4-time U.S. national champion. But can he succeed against the world's best? Dominique Dawes, will she be in Atlanta next year? Shannon, once the world's best. Can she be again? And the fairy book tale of Dominique Moceanu, rejuvenating a great coach and America's Olympic dreams.